Welcome to the Personal Finance Podcast for doctors with Meena Shriram and Chanda Varma. This podcast aims to simplify all aspects of personal finance and help you make smart and informed choices about money so that you can live happier and stress-free lives. Today's episode is brought to you by Chanda Varma, who is a financial coach and vice president with the doctor practice at MFA, the only company in India having a dedicated practice for doctors, helping them plan and achieve their financial goals. Established in 2005, MFA is recognized as the most trusted and respected firm in the industry and have built this reputation by always putting their clients' best interest above everything and taking care of their money the way they would do it for their parents or best friends. Over the last 8 years, Chanda Varma has interacted with more than 3,000 doctors and has been a speaker at medical conferences and conducted many financial literacy webinars for doctors. Needless to say, she understands the finer-most nuances of a doctor's financial life. Do listen to this episode, and now over to Chanda.
Hi, welcome back to my podcast, the Personal Finance Podcast for Doctors. Today I have with me Dr. Neeraj Bijlani. Hi, Dr. Neeraj.
Yeah, hi, Chanda.
I am so grateful that you agreed to be on this platform with me today. And I am very happy that you're here, and there will be a lots that we can share here on this platform. Dr. Neeraj Bijlani is a young, dynamic, successful orthopedic surgeon. He specializes in joint, hip, and knee replacement. For last 10 years, he's based in Mumbai. He has his own hospital and clinic in Chembur, and he also consults at some of the reputed hospitals here, Apollo Spectra, Shushruth Hospital, and SL Raheja Hospital. He is the honorary secretary of the Bombay Orthopedic Society and also a director of Ortho TV Global Private Limited, which is the largest video platform for orthopedic surgeons in the world. What is different about Dr. Neeraj is that he is proficient in technology. He is known as the tech expert in the fraternity, and many surgeons, his peers, his mentors, his students, take his guidance on use of tech in their practice. In fact, he has conducted many computer skill courses for orthopedic surgeons right since 2011. So, Dr. Neeraj, there is so much you have achieved at a young age till today. Congrats on this wonderful journey. And can you please share your journey of how you became a tech expert besides being a joint expert?
Thank you, Chanda, for such a wonderful introduction. It's always great to be associated with MFA and this Personal Finance Podcast. Thank you very much for inviting me. So the journey actually began with a very small thing. I even did not have a computer during my MBBS. And that time there was only computers, and it was very difficult to get a computer also. So during my MBBS, I did not have a computer, but my uncle, who's also a very tech savvy doctor, he had a computer, and the internet was very costly. So before actually the cyber law came in, that was in the early 90s or late 90s, I was able to get some sort of hacking done where I was able to get somebody's passwords, and I used to use the internet. That is how it started. Yes.
All right.
That is how it started. And with that, eventually my passion for technology was always there. In fact, there was a time during my schooling that I wanted to become a computer engineer. But at that time, the computer engineers were really struggling. There were not so many jobs. Infosys was maybe non-existing, or maybe people had not heard of the companies like Infosys. So coding and everything, this was not there. And plus the world was not global like it is today. So it was very natural that most of my people in my family were doctors. My father was a doctor, my chacha was a doctor, my chachi was a doctor. And I also became a doctor. Okay. And after becoming a doctor, I used to come and help my dad during my internship in my hospital. And there I got exposed to orthopedics. And that is how I came into orthopedics. But my passion for technology continued. And as I started my practice, I met one more tech savvy doctor, Dr. Taral Nagda. And he identified that, this guy is very tech savvy, and then basically we can do something together. And that is the time when somewhere in 2010, he applied to Bombay Orthopedic Society as a for the technology course, which was unheard of. And since then, we have been conducting this not only in Bombay, but we have conducted in many places all over India. So my clinic name is also Orthotech. My website name is also Orthotech. And since then, basically, I had a passion for technology. And in those coming years, as the courses became famous, I kept on meeting doctors who were themselves quite tech savvy. And one of them was my co-founder of Ortho TV called Dr. Ashok Sham. And since then, the Ortho TV brand is growing. And now it's become a very big brand. Like we have now 36,000 active YouTube subscribers, plus many other 16,000 members on the website who are orthopedic surgeons.
Awesome. So, but you also have a reputation besides being tech savvy. You also have a reputation of being very financially savvy. And I know, like you said, through Ortho TV sessions, you have a lot of orthopedic related sessions for the surgeons, but you also facilitate Friday financial sessions for doctors. And you talk about topics and challenges that help them to be more financially aware. Now, this is a financial podcast, so this is something I have to talk to you about. How did this start off for you?
So, frankly speaking, my parents and most of my relatives whom I know were mainly investing in properties, as most doctors used to do of that generation, I think. And as the world changed, the investment in property started becoming very difficult. And the property rates also started exponentially high. That is where, somewhere in 2017, Dr. Ram Prabhu introduced me, who was that time the president of the Indian Orthopedic Association, wanted to do a session on finance in IOCON. And that time where I was introduced to MFA and you. And that is where actually the financial journey, I can say, had started. Though I had met some agents regarding mutual funds, but my father always used to say, मेरे एक पेशेंट ने सुसाइड कर दिया because म्यूचुअल फंड में उसने पैसा डाला, शेयर्स में पैसा डाला, वो सब डूब गया. So basically, that is where I understood that mutual fund is not about only risk. It is about how mutual fund is a part of your financial journey, means a part of your financial planning. So I was made aware that how important is financial planning in a day-to-day life. And I feel that every doctor, even if they are not financially savvy or tech savvy, they can definitely have a coach like MFA, and they can help them in their financial planning and the financial journey.
Let me ask you, you meet doctors day in and day out. What are the main challenges that you feel in a doctor's life? I ask you this, Dr. Neeraj, because I know that a doctor's life cycle is very different from any other person, because a doctor starts very late in his career. It's only at the age late 30s or 40s when he really starts earning and settling in his career. And there is no, honestly, a retirement age for doctors, right? You can work till 70, 75, 80, till your body allows you, right? But in spite of that, I have seen doctors who tell me that I am like a daily wage earner. It's only when I work, I earn. And yet, when it comes to money decisions, they are not really aware, or they just rely on someone in their family or their chartered accountant or anyone who has any financial knowledge to help them make investments or do some tax planning. Really? So according to you, when you talk to these doctors about financial literacy, what do you think are the main challenges in a doctor's life?
The first challenge is that most of them think that they are doing right and they are not doing it. There are two types of people. One is that I have met doctors on one end of the spectrum who are 100% fixed deposit. There is no investment, zero, except for and there are many people who don't have even their clinics. So they think that the house is an investment. Mera to ghar hai. So that is this much value. I feel that house is a liability. That is the first thing which the doctor should understand. I understood this many years back when I read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So the house is not a investment. House where you stay is a liability. That is one. Second is that I saw two spectrum of doctors during the lockdown. One spectrum is this, who are completely FD and they just don't want to budge. They don't want to even meet anybody. Though they are so scared of the share market because someone in their family has basically lost a lot of money in those small penny stocks. And then the second spectrum is the doctor who will try to do all the courses and who will try to earn money themselves by investing in equity, future and options. That is also right if you are able to do it. But I will say that 80% of the doctors fall in the middle bracket who are open to investments. but they are still basically very skeptical. And most of them would have invested in some LIC policies, which will give them return less than FD. And they will not realize it till it comes back to them. They are just putting in money, and then the return comes is less than FD. So it is valueless. And they don't want to remove that. And sometimes in every family in those days had a LIC agent. Like even my family had a LIC agent. I had to stop my LIC policies. And basically then he was very disappointed. Nahi, tumhare ko acha return mil raha hai. The return up till now is getting me is 5%, which is less than FD. So why should I continue this? So that is one. कि हम family member से लिया है हमने LIC policy, वो कैसे बंद करें? So that was also one challenge which people face in their financial planning journey. They don't want to stop something which they have already started. And the most important is that we as doctors usually are not big risk takers. At least 90% of the doctors practicing are not big risk takers. Some risk is taken where we are doing a surgery, but we will always be doing a surgery which is evidence-based. Means there is a evidence that this surgery works. We will only do that. We will not be doing experimentation with our patient's life. There are only 10% doctors who are successful in doing experimentations and bringing out their own techniques. 90% just follow those 10%. Same way, it's like that. So people don't want to take the risk because everybody says that this is share market is risky. आपका पैसा नीचे भी जा सकता है. मतलब उनको same चलेगा, zero चलेगा. लेकिन they are not realizing that the inflation is eating away their FD interest. So many doctors don't realize. So this is something which was very difficult to penetrate. But I feel that at least in the lockdown, there are many people who have now keeping their ears open. Whether they invest or not, that is a different thing. But at least they have got the thought process that I need financial planning. I need to diversify my investments.
See, now doctors, they don't like when patients self-medicate. Information is available everywhere. So there is a natural tendency for doctors to self-medicate when it comes to their finances, just like patients do when it comes to their health issues. So in terms of self-medication, when it comes to finances in doctor space, what is it that you think? What is it that is going on in their mind when they decide कि मैं खुद पढ़ लूंगा, मैं खुद research कर लूंगा, and I will go and make my own decisions and investments. I don't need anybody. I'm from the intelligent strata of the society. I deal with life. I deal with such issues. ये क्या चीज है?
This is very common in all strata of society. That is common even in the legal paperwork. That is even common where architecture is concerned. And that is most common in the medical field. And same thing is applying to the finance field also. But as I told you that those are only those 10 to 20% of the doctors who will try this. And out of that, maybe all will not succeed. So, but the other 50, 60 or maybe 70% of the doctors who are ready to do their financial journey will, I feel, need a coach in some point in their life. Though I started my journey around at the age of between 40 to 42, I should have started at least 10 years early. It would have been better. But my parents did a lot for me. My PPF account is very old. The day I turned 18, I had my PAN card. My PPF account is there since my childhood. So I have a lot of money there. So my parents have done whatever they could at that time where the financial planning was concerned for me. So it is little easier for me. I don't have to buy a house. I already have a house. So, but everybody is in their different stages of life. If a doctor can even spare 25,000, which I feel that every 35-year-old doctor or 32-year-old doctor who's practicing for 4 or 5 years can spare easily and basically can start their financial planning journey. And if I would have started at 32, I don't know where I would have been. Now I'm almost 47. So I would have been 15 years of investment. I don't know what my portfolio would have looked like. But my portfolio is still good. One simple example, there was this mutual fund which was going to go down. And my coach called me up that we have to stop this mutual fund and we have to remove all from this mutual fund. And I removed the money at the right time. And after that, the mutual fund price went down like anything. So this only a financial coach can tell you all this type. So this is a very important part of financial planning. Everybody can invest, but when to come out, that nobody knows. Where to invest, how to invest, how much to invest, that only a financial coach can help you. I don't think how much ever you try, you can do a little bit by yourself. You want to do a little bit by yourself. Everybody wants to try. I always say that you can try, keep some amount of portfolio for this, but more major part of the portfolio, at least you discuss everything with your financial planner and this is what you plan to do. So you will get the right guidance.
But also you mentioned that your parents did a lot earlier. So if I were to ask you, what are your values about money? In the sense, what does money mean to you? And therefore, how does that influence how you take your financial decisions?
So money means basically, in the common language, people say "haath ka mail hai," but I've never been able to understand this. But what I'm able to understand is what my mom and dad always used to do is that they used to save first and spend later. So money means basically using it carefully. Saving and investment should be the number one thing, and then you should be thinking of spending. That is what I think their generation was brought up like that. So they were never of fancy cars. Even if my father can afford a Mercedes, he still drives a Celerio, which just costs less than 10 lakhs. What I have learned is that keep your lifestyle to the simplest, minimalistic, so that you don't have to be worried about that. Abhi main Taj mein jaake khaun, कि अभी मैं Mercedes कैसे लूं, अभी मैं इसका EMI कैसे चुकाऊं. So this is what my values are. That basically to save first, invest first, and then spend.
So keeping these values that you have, it's inbuilt in you now. And so how did you take decisions before versus how you're taking decisions now that you have appointed a financial advisor for yourself? Do you see a difference in the way you think, the way you take decisions? What value add you see that you're getting on the table?
See, first of all, I was not knowing anything about financial planning. What is financial planning? I used to think financial planning matlab mutual fund, stocks. Yes, sir. Now I understood that financial planning does not mean only mutual funds. Financial planning means a lot more. Financial planning means that basically I have to think about what I need after 5 years, what will I need after 10 years, what are my short-term goals, what are my mid-term goals, what are my long-term goals. So this is something which changed completely. I never used to think, 30 साल के बाद मैं क्या करूँगा, या 20 years के बाद मुझे कितना पैसा लगेगा, या 5 years, 10 years के बाद कितना पैसा लगेगा. Do I actually need a term plan? Do I need these investments? What is compounding? Though I read the book Compound Effect, but basically that is actually the time when 17, 18 I read the book. I did not read it before properly. So that is where basically, that is how my thought process changed. Okay, basically, how much do I require? I was only not aware. How much do I have? I was only not aware. How much do I need to invest? I was only not aware. How much will I need for my daughter's wedding? How much will I need for my house? How much will I need for my daughter's education? If I want to stop working, I do something else. How much will I need for my vacation? I was not knowing anything. I was not taking inflation into consideration. So this is what all changed.
If you had to give a message to people who are listening to you, your peers, or even people who look up to you as a mentor, what is the message that you would like to give them?
So the first and foremost message I would like to give is that as soon as your child is born, you make a Aadhaar for the child and you make a passport. Also make a PAN card and open an account. As soon as you start practice, you build your clinic, and maybe you are settled in practice for 3-4 years at least, or maybe 2-3 years. And you try to save something and try to invest it. Get a financial planner or a coach with you. Maybe they will help you set up even your clinic. And maybe they will also set up, they don't only guide you regarding investments of mutual funds or stocks. They will also guide you if you want to expand your clinic, if you want to buy a new house. And what do you want? How many children do you want? So per child expense. So many people think that, मुझे 2 बच्चे चाहिए. 2 बच्चे का खर्चा कितना है आज की तारीख में? So I will advise them that basically take the financial coach advice and be financial savvy. You have already learned the craft of surgery. Now you should learn how to manage whatever you're getting from the surgery.
Well, I think it has been a wonderful chatting with you. Thank you for sharing so many of your personal experiences, your thoughts, your life stories, and also a lot of that you do and that can help people who are listening in. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Chanda. It was very nice talking to you. It has always been a pleasure. Like we have done so many webinars during the lockdown. And for people who are listening to this, you can go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com. Just go to search Ortho TV and search Chanda Varma or Dr. Neeraj, and you will get these webinars. And these are very good webinars on financial planning also. And it gives you a rough idea what you should be doing and when and how you should be going ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You were listening to the Personal Finance Podcast for Doctors with Meena Shriram and Chanda Varma. If you find this podcast relevant and interesting, do share it with other doctors as well. It will be great if you leave a review, share, like and subscribe. You could also let us know if there is any specific topic that you would like us to cover. For any queries or help, you can get in touch with MFA's doctor practice team at 892 800 6140